All right, let's get down to business. So I just watched this movie my mom recommended to me. It's called Willow. And though I love Willow Smith, it's not about her. It is set in this mythical land. It's like, oh my goodness, they could make a series of this. Like Netflix, stop making things like Bridgerton and pretending that you care about ethnic people at all and having the lightest skinned black man to be the main protagonist, having a dove looking girl to be the main protagonist girl, and then having the kinkiest haired girl be the baby mama with no father until the end, okay? Stop making these boo-boo garbage crap things that no one asked for. Revealing Lady Whistledown in the first season if you're going to make more seasons. And make a series about Willow. It came out in 1988. It still holds up really good because it's a medieval thing. Like Barbarian, whatever that dude with Arnold Schwarzenegger, like straight up, it stuff like that holds up because it needs to be dirty and grusky and musky looking to actually set the stage. So Willow follows I think they're elven. I really don't know what they are. They don't have elf ears, which is really cool because it's set into where there's a lot of creatures that make no sense. And I didn't like that in the sense of I love like medieval time things, but I understand why they did this particular thing. So first, let me get right down to the nitty-gritty. There are barely any speaking roles to like average sized people. There's a lot of screen time for little people. This was such a good movie to use a bunch of little people without it like being offensive. I personally didn't think it was offensive, and I'm always an advocate for every single marginalized group and people who have like issues in this world that we live in. And I really did not feel like it was like setting stereotypes or anything. People were just people. It was like a movie, and also the camera was set to their level, and it was like, so the cinematography was brilliant. I don't want to spoil too much because I really want you guys to see this movie. I really don't want to like say, oh, this is what it's about, but I'm going to give like little tidbits so it'll get you interested. So Willow is kind of, I'm going to call them elven. I'm not going to call them elves or dwarves. And for anybody who's confused and wants to be like, people call it politically correct. I really don't know why politics has anything to do with it. It's just correct. Like the correct term for people with dwarfism is little person. Anyone who watches TLC knows what I'm talking about. Like Little People Big World, Little People Atlanta, they say little people because that's what they are accepting as the word that we are supposed to use as average sized people, and that's the terminology that is best suited for this space. So going forward, if I refer to the actors and not the people in in the movie, they'll be referred to as little people, and then the average sized people will be average sized people. The humans in the story or in the movie are average sized people. I don't really say any other word other than that, and I'm not going to. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So Willow is basically a journey thing. I personally believe it's better than The Hobbit. And it's not saying much in the sense of The Hobbit was bad and there's a lot wrong with The Hobbit. But it's still something that people still are like, oh, this is cool because it's connected to the Lord of the Rings. I personally felt like Lord of the Rings was far too long to sit through and deal with. I love Elijah Wood. If I ever make a movie, I really want Elijah Wood and Daniel Radcliffe to be in it because, like, honestly, I don't think they've done that yet. Like, people say they get them mixed up. I really don't see why y'all must be blind, honestly. Y'all must think Roxas and Sora from Kingdom Hearts look the same. If you think Elijah Wood and Daniel Radcliffe look anywhere similar, they're just short guys with British accents. I really don't know what accent Elijah Wood is doing because I've seen him in, like, way too many things. He's better at holding his accent away than Daniel Radcliffe is. Like, Elijah Wood is, people like give Daniel Radcliffe bones because we know him as Harry Potter. But most certainly, Elijah Wood, I would probably say he probably does have more acting experience, but I feel like he's the superior actor. Even though I love Daniel Radcliffe and I would love to like be his friend and stuff, I would have to give it to Elijah Wood. But so, Willow follows the elven people. You see their whole society. It's so cool. There are black elven people. There are Hispanic elven people. I didn't see any Asian elven people, but I probably wasn't looking close enough, and I've only watched it once. So there could be, and that would be the only like representation of the top people, because there's so many people. We can't fit it in a movie. We can't fit everyone in a movie, but we definitely can dilute some of this why is everyone Anglo all the time situation. We can definitely do that, you know. So I was very happy to see different colors and different sizes of people. Not every little person had the same dwarfism, and yes, there's different types of dwarfism, so probably do some research on that, because I'm not gonna like, I really don't know it all, but I just know for a fact that most definitely they, there's like 2 types I know, but I really don't want to like get into it. But it's like, this was, if you want to see representation, and then kind of, it's like, there's no black humans in this movie. Like there are no black humans or like any ethnic humans at all. And the main protagonist, like anti-hero guy is pretend to be something else, but I know he's Anglo. I know he's Anglo. He's not. He could be a Spaniard post-colonialism, like at the very best. Like at worst, he's like, I don't know what he is, but wherever he's from, he is from post-colonialism, most definitely. But Willow is like, I feel like it's not a big deal to not see myself in this movie, but you can, like, this is what I'm trying to get at with this, exposing you guys to this movie, because a lot of people don't like to look at old movies, and like I said before, the oldness of it makes it seem very genuine. It makes it seem like this stage is set in medieval times, and it kind of gives this what the village couldn't give people type of thing. And I don't want to spoil it, but like, the only good aspect of The Village, that movie that M. Night Shyamalan made, was that whole thing where it wasn't real. What they perceived to the kids wasn't real. And as people got older, basically as a rite of passage, you would know this history. Okay, we're on this reserve, basically. We have to make sure the kids stay here because the outside world's terrible. It's basically kind of like that in Willow. And it's like a whole, if you liked Conan the Barbarian, you're going to kind of like this movie, because it's like a group of people go and try to do things, and the hero, like, kind of, the barbarian kind of had more of camaraderie than this movie does, because eventually the camaraderie stops. And I feel like Conan the Barbarian, the camaraderie was the whole story. Like, everyone stayed together and everyone had a place at the end to do things, what they wanted. And Willow is kind of less like that and more like a solo hero story, where it's the power of Willow himself. And also, little sidebar, the man who plays Willow is also connected to Harry Potter. He plays a lot of characters in Harry Potter, I do believe. He plays one of the goblins in Gringotts Vault. And I do believe he plays another one. He plays the Leprechaun, I do believe. And when I saw Leprechaun in the Hood, I was just like, oh my gosh, you must be tripping. Like, what on earth? You must be tripping. Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? Like, it's like, okay, that's fine, I guess. In the Hood. And that's, like, I already made a video about all that thing where it's like, we gotta, like, can't have nothing unless it's in the hood or something crazy like that. Like, but it's not about that. We're not talking about that in here. We're talking about Willow. And I do believe the dude from Bad Santa, one of my favorite Christmas movies, go see my Christmas movie, 12 Days of Christmas movies, videos. If you want to see about Bad Santa and Bad Santa 2, he's in there, like, and he's in Friday. It's just, this cast is so rich that it was a disservice to our world, our plane that we live on, our spirits walk on this earth, to not have a sequel to this movie. And now you really can, because this is the gist. So I'm not going to explain where the baby came from, because it kind of spoils the movie. But old dude Willow finds a baby, and eventually it's his job to deliver the baby to a place. So it's like, now that times are more malleable, they're not different, because as you can see, anyone can just walk up in any building as long as you look like Anglo-Saxon. Says if you come from the Caucasus Mountain, you can literally walk in someplace and walk out and be just fine. Like, nowadays, we can actually have at least black people in the background, you know, fanning the queen, like in, what's it called? Having the queen be as light as possible. Like, they literally did brown paper bag tests to see who could be on Bridgerton and who could be a background character, or who could be poor, or who could be, like, barefoot and pregnant with no father. Like, it's like, literally, here's this brown egg. If you lighter than this brown egg, you got the job. If you darker, you can work lights. You can work makeup. You could work hair, because you good at hair, right? But I digress. Let me digress now. So now, Netflix, it's up to you. I tweeted, and I'm probably going to tweet at you after I post this video. Hey, you guys are doing real crap. You're doing a real crap job. Like, they literally, like, drop a good thing once in a while. Castlevania is something that no one asked for, but it was really good. And I'm interested in seeing more. And it's kind of like annoying how long the hiatuses are for their new stuff. And the very first season of Seven Deadly Sins was good. Well, let me not say good. Let me say tolerable. Let me say it had a good premise. It had a good foundation. But I have a video on why it's the whole thing is just cringe to me. If you look under my videos, you should find it. Hope you like it. But the rest of them in the movies are bad. And the animation, it's like they didn't even try. People are literally making fun of this everywhere. Like, I saw a clip of Pride Sin Escanor and Wrath Sin Meliodas fighting, and it was like, I don't know, it seemed like there was lag, but that was the real animation. It was just like, what are you doing? Instead of making crap, since you guys can't make up your own stories or get writers that can make their own stories, why don't you take from someplace that we never got a chance to see the sequel, like the how the baby grew up and became queen? Like, I don't understand why y'all don't just make a series. It doesn't even have to be a big series. Y'all will make, there's this thing called like Midnight Diner, and there's like different sections, and it's like a limited series kind of. There's more, but that was only after the limited series, I believe. I don't know which came first, but y'all make limited series all the time. Like, if you really don't want to quote unquote waste your time, just do a mini series and see how it works. But I'm sure it'll be good, because people are waiting for the next Game of Thrones. People are waiting. Like, people will never get tired of 3 things, all right? And the first one is space. No, they will never get tired of space, all right? Medieval times. They will never get tired of medieval times. Never. Like, and zombie apocalypse. Like, you know how many zombie apocalypse movies there are? Too many to count. And they still are pretty successful. They don't, by zombie, it could be infection, and they don't have to die and be reanimated, but it's just like any virus, any end world times, I should say. any end world times, no one's going to get rid of, not like, because we haven't experienced these things. If we're watching TV, we haven't experienced the Dark Ages. If we're sitting here and we're just living our lives, we haven't experienced space. Not everyone is going to experience space. No one can experience the Dark Ages until it happens. And when it happens, we're not going to be worried about movies. And the apocalypse. People like want to see those three things always. Those things will always, if you are trying to figure out what do you want to, like, if you want to get a book out there and want to, like, get a lot of money, those are the three topics that you need to base it around. One of them, it can't be medieval space apocalypse. That makes no sense. Each plane is different. Each section is different. But those are the three sections, and those can be bumped down into subsections of things that people are interested in. But those are the main three things that you can just say, yeah, people are never going to get tired of it. Game of Thrones was good at first because it seemed really raunch and really dirty. But then as it grew in size and popularity, they got more money. So they started putting more money into the lighting and more money. Like, it's cool to not have certain lighting. It's cool to not have the boom somewhere. It's cool to not have, like, water and stuff. Like, honestly, if they wanted to drink water, why didn't you just make the prop cups able so they could drink water on set? Why not? Y'all are actors. Act around eating and drinking. Like, Friends did it. Like every show, like Roseanne or the Connors, I should say, they eat all the time or drink and stuff in front of the TV. Now, usually, you don't see it. But in Roseanne, they were literally, like, eating and having a life. And it looked like Roseanne was one of the most successful, most relatable sitcoms. Like, Friends isn't relatable. They just pretend to be relatable. Frasier's not relatable. It's just crazy. Golden Girls is out of this world. It's not relatable. There are relatable topics that are in Golden Girls, which I like, but a lot of their things are exaggerated for the TV, and it's cool because it's like Dorothy's mom, Sophia, always, like, there are times where she's doing things like forgetting people's names, and it's like played as a joke. Game of Thrones was successful because at the beginning it was very raw and rough, and people that you thought couldn't die died. As it got old, as the show went on, they were like, well, we can't get rid of this one. These are the people that are, like, Jon Snow really should have, like, died out there, but the dragon shouldn't have been able to do whatever. The Night King should have been stuck outside the wall waiting in ice, like frozen. And that could have been just something pending. Like, it didn't have to necessarily be a conclusion for them to die at the end of Game of Thrones. I was going to do a video about how I was going to end Game of Thrones, but in order for me to say how I was going to end it, I would have to rewrite all of the 8th season, because nothing in the 8th season was cool. Arya killing the Night King didn't bother me as much as Jon Snow not getting killed by the Khalasar, or the Unsullied nobody. Like, yeah, people are talking about, oh, he would have been Carl. He would have been Carl because he killed her. And no one saw him kill her. So they're just going to take his word for it. And then Jon Snow didn't just kill himself right then. Because, like I said, the Unsullied would have killed him. The Unsullied would have killed him. The dragon would have killed him. The dragon would not have taken him away and been like, well, since we blood. I don't know a lot about George R.R. Martin, and I have not read a single book of his, but I know for a fact that there's the whole Dance of Dragons. I could have sworn the Dance of Dragons was them fighting each other. Why wouldn't a dragon... I say dragon with air quotes because I'm going to make a video. I really am. I'm really in the process of making a video of what the difference between a dragon and a wyvern is. And y'all are just going to have to accept that. Because there's comes a time where where magic won't save you. Where magic and mythical creatures, you can't just claim things are mythical creatures and not give a distinct definition to what these mythical creatures are. Then anything can be anything. A chair can be a table, but you don't sit on table. You sit in a chair. But I digress from that. This is really like I am so passionate about medieval things. It's really cool because I really want to see more ethnic people, Asian, Hispanic, everybody, Filipinos, everybody up in the Middle Ages. Like, it wasn't just Anglo-Saxons. It was like everyone. Like, more people existed than just Anglo-Saxon people. Like, really, like, people really think that, oh, well, black people came from Africa. It's just like everyone was everywhere. We're all people. It just doesn't make sense for like us to come from one place. Like, by that, like, if you want to really go back to Adam and Eve, like, honestly, I really don't know what to tell you. Like, we can go into that if you want to in the comments, but I'm not going to get into that here. Bottom line is, y'all should watch Willow, 1988. I do believe I had to rent it, but I'm sure you can find it bootleg because it's not something that was coveted. It didn't make enough money to make a sequel, but it's really good, and I really think that it wasn't given a chance because it was most of the cast were little people. I don't recall their names, and there was a bunch, like an army, but you don't really. And then the whole dragon thing at the end, whatever that thing was, you'll see it when you watch it. If you watch it, I hope you watch it. There's this thing that's disgusting, and I don't know, it looks more like a dragon than in Game of Thrones. It does, and I cannot wait to post this video about what a dragon is, because y'all are gonna be shook. Y'all are gonna be triggered. Y'all are gonna be everything under the sun, and that's just like that video I made with Resident Evil and how I thought about it. Y'all are triggered with that, and y'all are butthurt, and y'all are greasy, and y'all, like, I really don't know why you're mad. Like, why you booing? Like, I'm right. Like, I'm not even gonna be upset. Like, but it's just like, whatever. Willow deserves a series on Netflix, and it deserves more than one season, and it doesn't need to have a nice bow tie at the end, like, on things that didn't matter. Like, Cursed was like y'all's worst thing, honestly. Y'all's worst thing, one of y'all's worst things, because Death Note is one of y'all's worst things, and it's worse than Cursed. But Cursed, I already made a video about Cursed. It's bad. It's terrible. Like I said, y'all are just trying to steal from Merlin, just like Game of Thrones tried to steal from Merlin. Literally, Game of Thrones stole almost all of their entire cast from the show Merlin. Yes, not their main cast, but their sidebar cast and the people that they didn't have enough money to pay because it looked real. It looked like as their budget went up, it still seemed real. That's something that Game of Thrones didn't do. Like, even though it's a medieval times, place, and magical, mythical Middle Ages thing, like, we still have to be convinced it's real. Why are we watching a movie when we can just go to sleep and dream about things? I'm just saying, like, come on, like, Willow, give it a chance. Watch it. It's not that long. It's long enough for you to be like, oh, this was a movie. Like, it's good. It's got a lot of little people in it. It's got a lot of ethnic people up in there. So cool. Some things don't hold up, but you know. 1988 and stuff, Yeah, I really don't want to give too much away. I really, really, really don't. But I'm just, like, trying to stress to you guys, give it a chance. I would say it's better than The Hobbit. I would say, personally, it's better than The Lord of the Rings. But a lot of people will probably disagree with me on that. But I would say, you know what? You disagree. You watch Willow and you tell me. Like, it only has one movie. So I can't say it's fair to say that you can add every single Lord of the Rings movie up together and say it's better than one movie. But I do believe it's fair to say that Willow is stronger than all of the Hobbit movies combined. I really do. You think I'm wrong? Go watch it yourself. Tell me what you think about it, what you like about it. And I do believe this would be their second chance to, like, make a franchise that's like Game of Thrones, get some money out of it, make some dolls, make some stuffed animals from this. Add more creatures, because these creatures are strange in this movie. It's like there are little tiny littler people. They're like itty bitty. They look like action figures that are their enemies, because I don't know. But I understand, because like a dragon would just eat them. Like they couldn't have anybody else be their enemy. I understand that. But what I would hope would be like creatures that were like creatures, not just little tiny people. Like, it's just strange to me personally. I say that they could have been imps, they could have been fairies, they could have had wings on them, but like I said, it's in 1988 and the budget was probably pretty low, and they probably didn't have enough money to like they only animated like one fairy up in there. And it looks pretty bad when you talk about CGI, but like I told you what you expect. You expect like 2020, 2021 crap in a 1988 film. Like, get real, get real. I'm also in the progress of making a Merlin video. It's going to be very, very, very long. I'm pretty sure it might be at most 2 hours. I really don't know if I'm going to put different halves. I thought I was going to do different chapters or different seasons. But I'm just going to probably try to knock it out in one video. But we'll see how that goes. I highly recommend Willow. Like I said, it's better than a lot of these things that they're peddling out. Way better than Cursed. Like Cursed, if y'all think you like Cursed, like watch Willow and then tell me that it doesn't deserve a series on Netflix. Because they could literally add more ethnic people. They could have different races. They could have different, like they could literally do whatever they want now, because there's so many options. Get real, Netflix. Look at this Paramount Plus. Look at this Disney Plus. Look at everyone is making streaming services, and you're about to be a thing of the past. Honestly, who needs you when we can go somewhere else for the business? If you want to keep our business, listen to what we say. The people who give you money, we want better things. And Death Note, the movie, was not it. Cursed is not it. And especially Bridgerton. Get real. Bridgerton sucked. Suck an egg. A pigeon egg from that pigeon girl you hired to play the main protagonist girl. And have a good day. Done.